Welcome back to the She Grows podcast. I'm Jen Matthews.
Hey, I'm Danielle Doss.
We are so excited that you have joined us for our Summer of Friends series.
Woo! Best time.
This is our favorite thing to do in the summer is bring on some of our friends that we think have really quality things to share with you. And this conversation is going to be a really great one. We can't wait for you to dig in with us. But before we even get rolling, go ahead and share this with a friend. Look, we're not telling you to change the world. Pick one friend and share the podcast with them. Lighten up their summer. Give them something awesome to listen to by the pool. And we'll jump on in.
Hey, we are so excited that Summer of Friends is here. It's happening.
Yes.
This is our second week to host Summer of Friends. Honestly, we love it, but we know that you love it too because always people have just such great feedback.
Yeah.
Our listens are way higher because they know you, like they are so excited to get to know you a little bit more. And today we have one of our very favorite blondes in the space, Misty McClendon. Let me make sure I said that last name right.
Yes, it's a new last name. So.
Misty is just genuinely probably one of the best cheerleaders that you will ever meet in your life. And I'm so excited that you're
Me
here
too.
with us today.
Thank you for having me.
For those that don't know you, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Misty McClendon. I was born and raised here in our community. I was an educator for 28 plus years, just a few days out of retirement.
Which is just shocking because, I mean, so young.
I know.
Everybody's like, what?
How did we follow your
Yes,
plan?
it's kind of shocking to me. I am also a newlywed, I guess you could say. So lots of amazing things have happened. I am a mom to two boys. Parker, he's 25, and Peyton is 19. Mm-hmm. And they're just my joy. And just a lot of new life coming along that's we have to talk about.
I'd say
And Peyton is so excited that you're becoming famous today.
Yes, that's what Peyton, he was like, you're going to be famous, Mom. But I was like,
the
buddy,
cutest.
I'm just going to share my story.
I thought you were already famous.
I know.
Well, you know, you go if you're a teacher here in the community, you go in the
That's
grocery
true.
store and a student sees you outside the community. They're like, I'm like, I don't live at the school. I have a life.
Teacher life, teacher life.
Teacher life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I'm
awesome.
happy to be here.
That's awesome. You are brand new to the retired life.
yeah, about 5 days out.
Lots
Yeah.
of things that have happened within this past year that are new.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of cool things.
A lot of change, a lot of scariness, but trusting in the Lord is really what's gotten me through.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sitting in like a lot of magic right now. Just like the coolest moments have been happening and you're sitting in right now. So let's back up the clock for just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
And we don't even have to back up very far because God's done a lot in your life in a very short span of time.
Very short time.
Which is amazing. But do you want to tell us a little setup for the transformation, I guess you could say, how you even got started? I guess we'll just start with your life here at our church. Like, how'd you get started at Cultivate? And
I believe I started Cultivate about 2021 was my first time to come. I was single mom, but I had was in a relationship with someone, and I had not been in a relationship since my divorce of 2013. And so we were church hopping, and this was the first place we came, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was not one to serve. We sat on the back row. I kind of stayed hidden. But my heart, I knew, was just bursting and just wanting to just grab a hold. It was like a sponge. I just wanted to grab a hold of everything that was happening here at the church. And then I think I came to my first event, and
That's
that was
cool.
the first thing I served at was my first She.
That's cool.
I also started a small group with Trish, our wonderful friend Trish, who's over all of our small groups, and I just really caught on to the community. Then later on in 2022, that relationship ended, and I remember sitting there in despair. It was a happened on a Saturday, and I was sitting there on Sunday, and I was like, I've got to go to church. And so I wanted to just crawl in the bed and just be like, no, I'm not going to church. But I did. I came to church and walked right into Danielle's arms. And the next thing I know, she has me on the serve team. I'm serving. And it was just a great way for me to just dig into the community. And that's how it really started, is serving. Sometimes I've thought about it in the past, and like, when you're in a deep, dark place, serving others, and that's just the way I am, serving others was just kind of the way to help me heal through that. And that part became easy to me, was serving others. Because, I'm an educator. That's what I do every day. I serve children. That's where my heart is. And then to just stand, she was like, all you have to do is just stand here and open the door and say good morning. And I was like, okay. And so that's what I started doing, and here I am serving in all different capacities now.
So how natural did that feel to you to get, because I feel like a lot of people going through the end of a relationship, something kind of life-changing, you said it was an effort, and you had to like mentally get there to even show up at church. So was when Danielle was like, I think you need to serve, like go a step farther. Was that even like a natural type of response, or was it natural for you because of what you did? Or
it was. I knew I am a community person. I am a friendship person. I grew, like I said, I grew up here in this community, and I have different groups of friends from teaching, from high school. I'm still best friends with my friends from high school here in the community. And so I knew that this was the community I wanted to be a part of. I just wasn't sure where my place would be.
Yeah.
And it just really opened the door. Even just a simple standing at the front door every Sunday morning saying, good morning, have a great day. We're so glad you're here. Just really opened up my eyes to what else I could do and how other ways I could serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm like, yes, I always want people to grab heart. Specifically whenever I'm talking to them about like serving, and one, it does bring this beautiful community aspect to it that you don't even realize that you get whenever you say, yes, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to serve the local church. But genuinely, like what you just said, there's an accountability part to it. It's like, hey, I've signed up. I'm not going to lay in bed. I'm not going to watch online today.
They're counting on me.
But it's so much more than what it does. Like we think we're doing for other people. There is healing in the process.
Exactly.
Of that.
I even actually wrote that in my notes as I was preparing today. I was like, my serving, it was really part of my healing journey. And the more I served, the more I wanted to get in deeper. Like, what else can I do? Okay, I've stood here at the door now. What else can I serve at? Now I'm serving at She. How can I get involved with that? And then with a little kick from my little sister, and I went through our grow and joined the worship team, and that's when it really just started to flourish. It was like, just my life just completely changed after that. Was finally I hadn't sang in many years. As I said, I felt like I had been silenced. I had silenced my voice really out of feeling rejected in relationships and in my marriage, and feeling unworthy, not good enough, and all of those things. And those are really things that women struggle with. And then I had also grown up in the pageant community where singing was just a performance. That's what it was, when I walked out on stage. And then Jen explained that this is not a stage, it's a platform. It's a platform where we can share our love for Jesus. And I would have to say the first couple of times I actually was on platform, to me it was still a performance. I had to break down that wall of performing and, really open up my heart to the Lord and how I could use my gift to really just show my worship and show my love for Jesus. And so that was just really eye-opening, and lots of doors just started opening up after that. So
I did have just one question to kind of like circle back, and then we'll kind of go into like this new and exciting area of your life. But when I know a little bit about your story, so when you were saying, it's been a minute since we've attended church, we're church shopping, we're just going and looking to see, there's a moment where you are like, yes, I know that I need to be in God's house. I know I need to be in the local church, but there's also a difference of being in the church versus like following after Jesus. So it's not just that I'm going to go and mark this off my to-do list,
right?
But like I'm going all in. And that looks like the serving, that looks like plugging in small groups. But what other areas changed in your life For the person that's listening, that's like, yeah, I go to church every Sunday. And then here you sit, years later, and it's like, oh, it's so much richer because there are disciplines of following Jesus that bring so much like genuine life to it. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I knew how I was feeling inside as I was serving and what was changing within me and my heart and my walk. But then other people, I could feel it inwardly, but I didn't know if anybody saw it outwardly. And I know we had a friend of mine walked into my classroom one time, and she had been in there, and she was like, there's just something different about your classroom. Like, what is it? This year you're just so much more calm. You're so much at peace. And it was because I wasn't having that internal struggle within it. I was creating this whole, God was just changing so much in me that it was actually showing within my work. And then my patience at home with the boys and all of those types of things. It was inward to me, but it was starting to show externally to others. And when they started bringing it to my attention, I was like, whoa. And I was like, they were like, what's different about you? And I'm like, nothing's different. It's not just me. I'm just me. I don't know how to be anybody else. And they're like, no, something's different. And that's when I realized, like, wow, all that I'm doing is really changing me on the inside, but people are actually noticing. And that was the beauty of it, is
cool.
seeing that other people notice it and bring it to my attention.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you've been around the same people for a lot of your life.
Yes. And how would those people accept the changes that I've made in my life? I mean, the changes and the way that I was working several jobs, and that's when I was like, okay, I can no longer work on Sundays. I'm going to be at church. I'm going to serve. I'm going to be there for an extended amount of time. This is what I want in my life. And it was just fulfilling me in a way that I had never been fulfilled before.
What struck me in your journey is just how you've been willing to pay the cost. Because even in that, you mentioned, I know what you mentioned about how will people receive me as I change. I know that's been a concern for a lot of people who have changed their life, of like, oh my gosh, like, thankfully you're around people who are like, oh, this is better for you. Like, what's happening? This is amazing. But I think we've had a lot of friends who like I had to walk away from this relationship and this relationship because they wouldn't track with me. Like, they weren't growing with me. And that can be a hard thing to have to face, I guess, when you've had these relationships. And but I love that you're just like guns a-blazing regardless. But I think it's because you caught something when you saw the change from serving and from following the Lord and all that you don't. There's nothing we can say that communicates that to people until you just catch it.
Right.
And it does change you. To where other people notice, to where you notice, it changes all. But it's that, like, keeping your eyes open and your heart open to go, wait, this is what the Lord's doing in my life. And is there just anything, just to put you on the spot for a quick answer, is there anything you would say to the people who are still going, I don't want to serve yet. I don't want to do that. Why would I serve? Why would I go to church and work? Like, because I think some people still view it as this job they would do.
I mean, we're here till, if once you get in serving, you can be here. You can serve as little and as most as you want. I mean, and I started off at the door and, and now I'm here till, 2:00 every Sunday, and I don't think anything. And here on Friday nights with Celebrate Recovery and on all of those things. And it's really just opening your heart to it and knowing that serving other people in a place like a church that has this open door policy. I mean, I grew up in a church around here, and I just wasn't comfortable in that place anymore because I was born and raised here in the community. And I needed, this church really gave me, I came in and I didn't know anyone, and how quickly those connections happen. That's when you know you're in the right place, is that you're making connections and you've got people that want to understand you and know your heart, and you didn't know my past when I walked in the door. I didn't have to share that. But the more I got involved and the closer I made relationships, I was able to share those things about me and share my family. And of course, I had protected my boys from so much because I didn't want them to you know, we were just I was the mom. Okay, we went on Easter and we went on Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, and then they started seeing me serve. And what was so, I think, a really pivotal moment was when the boys were getting baptized. And your husband, Brendan, talked to Peyton before that. And what touched me so much was that he asked Peyton what made him, you know, fall in love with Jesus. And he said, I watched my mom fall in love with Jesus. How could I not? And that's when I realized that I was the spiritual leader in our home.
Yeah.
And when you take ownership of that, and all of that was through serving others and through coming and just not just showing up out of this is what we're supposed to do. You know, but it's where I want to be. And if I miss a Sunday, I just can't stand it. Like it just, you know, I don't feel, my cup is not full for the rest of the week. But to watch my boys see that change in me. And now they serve, and you know, they opened up and they have friendships and all of the things, and it's in a community that just surrounds us. It's life-changing. It truly is. And it's not just about opening your Bible and reading in God's Word. It's about the people that you surround yourself with every day. And that's who you look to when those moments of greatness come and new change come, like all the things that have come lately. And that's also where you turn when, you know, you're at a low and, you know, you're laying in the bed and you're like, I just can't get up. And I've texted y'all one Sunday morning and said, I just don't know if I can get to church. And you were like, get up. Yes, you can. Get up. Get up. You know, that's the enemy. And so, and there I was, you know, and just following that. It's just.
I think that is, it's special to see. The difference is like when you said I walked in and they didn't know, but the thing that is missing is like it's an instant family. And that is how the kingdom of God works. Like we are grafted in, we are brothers and sisters. And sometimes that could be good or bad, just like any other family. Like you're going to have your own like, oh, we're going to have to work this out. We've got this stretching and all that. But there is this gift of community that the Lord just says, this is the natural build and I've made this for you. And you embrace it. There's a vulnerability aspect. There's creating time and space. There's allowing for people to know the real things about you, but it really is life-changing.
Yeah, it was very natural for me to just fit in here and to find friends and to get into a small group, something I had never done before. And everybody the big saying around here is get into a small group. It changes, and it really does. It gives you those people that you can turn to, and then it just flourishes after that, and you're just wanting to be a part of it even more.
Well, there's a pivotal shift that happens when you move from Southern religion. We were talking about this earlier. Like everybody down here goes to church. When it switches from that to something that you do because you love the Lord.
Yes.
And when you pair loving the Lord and spending time in prayer and in His Word with the people, it becomes family, like you were saying. And through that family, you met what?
That was the biggest surprise of all is meeting my husband, who had, when you walk through a season of singleness, and that's a long season of singleness. It can get very, and as an older woman, I mean, I'm 51, and I just got married. And you've been through so many cycles of heartbreak and rejection and things, and then you come into a season where you just know that your prayer, you have to change your prayers at that point. You know, you pray for, sometimes you would pray for like the relationship. Just bring me someone because I'm so lonely. I'm just so lonely. And I think I even said it in my vows that God answered prayers, that those quiet prayers and my tears at night that I was crying in my bed at night just through this one thing. And He was here the whole time, not on my radar, not, you know, anyone that I would have pictured for myself, but it just brought such clarity into my life and such peace that it was just kind of crazy to watch how fast it moved.
Cool. It was so cool to watch. It was so cool to watch. It was amazing on its own. But what I would crack up watching behind the scenes was that Scott, her husband, he planted the church with us. Like he had been in deep for a long time. We went to church with him before we planted the church. Like, we had deep relationship there.
He's deeply rooted.
So when Misty enters the scene, he's like, come on, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I could just see this light bulb moment for you when it was like, I could just do that. Like I could just be a part of this.
It was.
And that was the coolest shift. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that felt like or what that shift was when you really just were like, oh, this can be mine too. Like, this is mine.
We had just started dating, and I was very, very cautious of letting our relationship get out in our church community.
Yeah, we know, girl.
I was very protective over it because, I mean, you know, he had been here for so long, and I didn't want to come in and be that person that, like, destroyed it, like, you know, or just, you know. And when you've been through it, rejection and unworthiness and low self-esteem and low confidence as a woman, and then you come into this and you meet a man that is deeply rooted, I didn't want to ruin what he had here. And so we were very quiet about our dating, although it was supposed to be quiet, but come on, it was not quiet. It's Scott here. But then for me to be able to, he serves in Celebrate Recovery. And I'll just be honest, my Friday nights were like, there's a true thing, teacher tired is a real thing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And so my Friday nights were come home, get in my pajamas by 4:30, order pizza, watch Dateline. I mean, that was, I lived for my Fridays. And Celebrate Recovery is, we do it here every Friday night. And we started dating, and I just showed up. I mean, I was coming to worship. I would show up to do my worship team when I would be on the worship team for that night. But not a second guess of why I was here. It's like, this is what he does, and I want to be, you know, he's the man for me, and I'm going to follow. I'm allowing him to lead me. And that is something I'd never had in a relationship. And it was never a second thought of being here on Friday night. It doesn't feel like, oh, I got to get up and go and do this and this. No, I want to be here on Friday night. I want to serve these people. And it's just such a wonderful community that we have through our Celebrate Recovery ministry, that it's just, they've become a second family to me.
That's so cool.
Beautiful.
Especially when you take that full circle from the moment here, recognizing that you're the spiritual leader, to that handover, passing that baton to go,
yes. I mean,
I've done my time, and thank you, God.
I showed up randomly one night here, and you guys were practicing for, was it a night of worship?
It was a night of worship, I think, yeah.
And I wasn't, you know, on platform that night, or, you know, for the night of worship, and I showed up, and Scott was like, come on, we're going to go in. I was like, no, I'm not going in. I'm not going in. He's like, I need to check the cameras and I was like, no. And so we show up, and then I'm just down there and listening to y'all, watching y'all practice. And Jim was like, come on, get up here with the choir. And I was like, huh? I can do that? I can do that? And she was like, yeah, come on. And that was just, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, okay, I am a part of this family. They do want me here. They accept me in this new relationship. I'm not going to mess this up for him, because we're holding ourselves accountable.
That's right.
In God's eyes. And I knew that it was something that we were going to follow, and we were following Jesus together. And it was an amazing transformation for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you said it, and I can't not mention it, because you said you held each other accountable. Listen, as grown adults who have waited, who have gone through seasons of singleness, that level of accountability is crucial and also the most difficult.
Yes.
So let's speak just a little bit to what that was like for you, that journey, that part of it.
Coming out of, of course, I had been married before. Scott had not. And so we had both started going to the singles group that we had here, which was a new singles group, new singles small group. Honestly, I was going just because Brittany told me I needed to go. And so I was going. And I remember the first night we were there, they totally changed my perspective on what it was like to be single. They said, you know, we just want you to picture yourself just running toward the Lord. And I knew I had been running toward the Lord. And just running, and one day you're going to look over and your person's going to be right next to you, running toward the Lord, or they may be a little bit ahead of you. Well, needless to say, Scott was literally sitting next to me, still not on my radar.
Wow.
And that's when I knew that I needed to change my prayer for not God send me a relationship to save me. You've
so
already
good.
saved me. You've already brought me here. You've already healed these broken parts inside of me, and just bring me someone that's going to hold me to that standard that God holds me to. And that's when the door opened, and I reached out to a friend and about Scott. It was just, I swear it was like a Holy Spirit moment. I just asked about him, and then the next thing I know, we're dating. And we did, it was a very confusing time because we have a big age gap between the two of us. But that's not, and I was hung up on it at first, but
Sure.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not now. We actually make jokes about it now, but I was so, my love language is, physical touch, words of affirmation. And he had these huge boundaries of, okay, I don't want to mess this up, and this is what I've got to do, and I've got to lead her. And I had never been led by a man. And we had some trials and some heavy conversations, and I took things to heart. Like, okay, he's sitting, I know y'all talked about it when you did your podcast on sexual sin. We're the couple that were sitting on the opposite sides of the couch, on the other ends of the couch for like the first 2 months we were dating. And I was like, okay, so like he doesn't really,
He's not into you.
he's not into me.
Yeah.
What is going on? And that's when I had to see like, but this is how I feel. And he was like, this is what I'm trying to grow for us. This is what I'm trying to show you.
So
it's like,
beautiful.
this is, if you will just follow me and trust me, I promise you that we will reap the benefits of this. And then as we got closer and closer, those boundaries that he had set became my boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, whoa, this is, my heart had changed and my perspective had changed for, even though I was, a 50-year-old woman, and I'm like, who can tell me? I'm like speaking to young girls like, no, this is worth saving yourself for. It really is. And it was just a tenderness, and just, it's something it makes me, if I get too much into it, I'll start crying, because it was just a moment.
We do that here.
To watch how it grew. And that day he proposed in front of everyone, it even heightened that. It made it even harder. And we really had struggled. We struggled through that time.
Yeah.
And I had you reaching out to me like, just hang in there, girl, hang in there. And I know you've always said that you and Brandon got married, within 6 months?
6 months. We met and married in 6 months.
We did it in 5.
Yeah. When you know, you know. Ain't no
When you
reason.
know, you know. And
Just get on with it.
And I know people say that as a cliche. I mean, really, we carry that around in society as a cliche. And so many people know, and then they end up.
Well,
They didn't know.
and also, I think that it does help, and I feel like this is helpful to say out there for everyone. You have people that are for you, that are speaking and affirming and saying, hey, listen, that part matters. Like the community, the people that know you, that know your future spouse, to lean into the wisdom that they're sharing, any sort of counsel, because of course you could just run off and get married, and it'd be the worst decision to make.
Exactly.
But it matters whenever you have your people that know you and are for you and for your future relationship to lean into that part of it too.
Yeah, that layer and the layer of walking with the Lord so closely.
Yes.
Because I know that feel. It's the Holy Spirit feeling of like, oh, I know what all those other things felt like when even the ones that felt like they were good.
Yeah.
They didn't feel like this. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is the thing. And that's when you're like, that's what that cliche means. When you know, you know.
Yes.
I thought I knew what that meant, but no, this is
That's
it.
so
This
good.
is it.
And you can go in with confidence.
If whether you're 20 or 25, 30, 40, I was 50, 51, had just turned 51. The waiting season is the hardest season.
Yeah.
You feel so lonely and so like, Lord, you have just forgotten about me. You've just forgotten about me. But he really hasn't. It's not a wait. I looked at it as when I switched and thought, it's not waiting. He's preparing me.
Yeah.
He was preparing for me
good.
this all along. And he was preparing Scott in so many ways. I mean, you guys know his story. That's his to share. And then my story, and it's like, I look at us and it's like Jesus had his two hands out, and I'm in one and Scott's in the other. And
He's like, this is gonna be so fun.
and I'm like, and I'm not looking over here like he's the one, like, no. And how he just brought us both together so quickly, and it just brought, how did you know? Because it brought me peace. It didn't bring me tension. It didn't bring me, am I going to wake up this morning and what's going to happen bad today? Because there was a time in my life where I would wake up every morning and I didn't know what shoe was going to drop, how, what damage was going to be said to me today by someone. And there was just such a peace and such a comfort and such a safety that I had never had before. And it was all because he was running toward the Lord just as much as I was, just like they said. And that visual is just something, and it's just like, you never think it's going to come together, but it can.
Yeah.
But you've got to wait it out. You have to wait it out, and you have to heal yourself. And he had healed himself. God had healed him. God had healed me. And if it had been 6 months before that, it would have never worked out. And now it's just, the wedding was a spiritual moment that just,
It's the coolest thing.
it was just a moment. It was so intentionally us that we had not even planned. Without this community, I didn't have anything to do with planning this wedding. Everyone around here did. And it was just a union of, and I think you could just see it on our faces that day, that
I've never seen a more beautiful ceremony in my life.
That wasn't
we
rehearsed.
have gone to a lot of wedding ceremonies.
We had no rehearsal, nothing, and I just kept Scott's a planner, and I just kept telling it's just going to flow. Okay. It's just going to happen. Just like everything in the past 6 months or so has happened, it's just going to come together. And, when we pulled out of the parking lot and he looked at me and he was like, I just feel like we just changed our church. And I thought, if there is one couple that was sitting at our wedding that caught a hold of something and thought, you know what, we need to go home and have this conversation. We need to go home, because you've got a 50-year-old woman and a 40-year-old man that just came together through all the heartbreak, all of the horrible things that we had both been through, and have come together and just released it all and saved it for each other. That I thought, if we had just saved one marriage, if our wedding saved one marriage, then the Lord's work was done that day.
I feel like these podcasts are so beautiful because it gives you just such a small glimpse of a huge story that we could really talk so much and go into detail of so much of your life, Misty, how the Lord has redeemed, how he's restored, the new adventures that he's got ahead. But I think about just knowing little bitty glimpses of how he has redeemed and restored. What is a word, what is something that how you would describe God's character that you've taken note of within these past few years?
Oh, gosh.
To put you on the spot.
Yeah, to put me on the spot. I would say his intentionality in every step that he takes you through. How intentional he is, even in those dark moments. He has planned those out for you for a reason. And if you follow that, he's going to bring you through the darkness, and there is a light at the end of it. And it can be just this beautiful, glorious light that can bring you such peace and such fulfillment in a way that anything outside of God cannot. And so just his intentionality of every step that he gives you, even when you're calling out to him and saying, why is this happening? Why am I divorced? Why is my marriage broken? Why has someone else left me? Why do I feel so rejected? And now why are you giving me this man that wants to hold me accountable to all of the things? He's so intentional with every breath he takes and every breath he breathes into you that it can truly change your life in just one little text. That's it. Just one little text to Brittany that I sent asking, what do you think about this? And it just totally changed our lives.
Yeah.
Scott and I both.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love you. I'm so thankful that you are, for you sharing just a little bit of your story and, I don't know, just being yourself. You always say this. You said, I can't be anybody else. I'm just
I really
myself.
can't.
And that is so cool because I don't think that too many people can just confidently walk in and say that. And you did it in a very, people are watching and they see you and they see you live it out.
Yeah.
And just,
and it's when they notice that you really feel it. When other people around you that don't know you inside this are starting to notice the change in you, that's when you know that the Lord's work is happening within you. And that's when you just want even more of it. You just want to grab a hold, and you're just like I said, you're just a sponge, just wanting to soak it all in.
That's so good. That's so good. And our prayer before we started today, this conversation was just that Misty is living out a lot of the things you hear us say all the time. But sometimes our voices are just our voices all the time. But to see in real life, know this actually works, and hear somebody else's story. So our prayer is that you call it something that Misty said in a real life situation to go, oh my gosh, I can do that too. Yeah. And Misty's very special to us, but she's not special in the sense that God can't do the same thing for you.
That's right.
And so while she is a treasure, you're a treasure also. So I just pray that you catch
Let it speak
heart.
Hope.
Let it speak hope to you today.
Hope.
That there's not until just to be the cliche that I just wish would stop. If you ain't dead, God ain't done. Until the story's done, it's not done.
It's all right.
And so trust that He is the only one who can see past the moment you're in right now to where it's headed, and just lean on Him full
Fully,
force.
definitely.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Well, thank you for being here with us, Misty. Love you.
I love y'all.